Hi, this is Chita Hunter, and we're going to take a look at the features of Face Aware Liquify. First thing I'm going to do is go to the Layers panel, and I'm going to convert my layer to a smart object before we start so that you can see the before and after features, and so that you know how you can go in and re-edit this if you want to. So now that it's a smart object, let's go to the filter menu and select Liquify. When you first enter this feature, if it notices that there are faces in the image, it will automatically place these white parentheses that you see around the faces. It will also number the faces in the column over to the right. You can see face 1 and face 2. So then you know which face you're editing, or you can select the face that you want to edit. When you hover over features on your face, you'll see these on-screen controls automatically appear. Like here, I'm zoomed in on the eye. You'll see the controls appear around the eye. And same if I zoomed around the nose and even the mouth. And if I'm hovering over around the face, you'll see this oval appear. What these controls allow you to do is manipulate these particular facial features. So if I want to drag and increase the size of his eyes, I can just drag the controls outward. And notice that it works on both eyes, not just one. Hopefully that feature will come in the near future. I can pull up his nose. I can drag his mouth around, up and down. I can even increase the size of his chin or decrease it. I can really do some really interesting things here. And watch, I'm even going to rotate his eyes a little bit to give him a little more of a mean look. I can narrow up the face. And notice, as I'm doing this to the face with the on-screen controls, they're also showing up on the right-hand side. So it gives me, for example, it's letting you know like how much you've increased or decreased the amount of a feature. Let me zoom in, for example, here over on eye size. If I want to continue to increase the size of his eyes, I can come over here to the slider where I have more precise control. And I can increase the size of the eyes here. And let's see if I want to change eye width. I can change, well, eye tilt is already at 100, and even eye distance. So you see the very interesting and exaggerated characteristics you can change with this feature. It can really make you a friend or a foe of a person. So now I'm going to go over here to the left eye, which is actually face 1, and I can do some of the same things. And over in the right-hand column, it will recognize what face I'm on, and the increments will show up accordingly. All right, so I've shown you how you can use this feature to really exaggerate some of the characteristics of the face. Next, I want to show you how you can use the same feature to work on very subtle changes to an image. So I'm going to choose OK to get out of this. It's going to set those. Now let's take a look. Because this is a smart filter, I can actually turn those changes off just by deselecting the visibility icon directly to the left of the smart filter. So I can turn them on, I can turn them off. Now because this is a smart filter, if I double click on the smart filter, double click on Liquify, it'll take me back into the Liquify filter where I can continue to edit this if I want. All right, let's choose OK, and let's close out of this. And I'll be right back with my other image. All right, I'm back. And here I have a portrait of a family, and I want to edit some features. I don't want to exaggerate them, I just want to enhance them a little bit. But I want you to notice that there are two people in this portrait who have tilted faces. And sometimes with tilted figures, the face-aware Liquify filter will not recognize them. So let's take a look. Go to Filter and Liquify. And notice that here I have the two male figures. They are recognized, but the two female figures are not. So let's see if we can work with that and make that change. I'm going to choose Cancel. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is duplicate this layer just so I can possibly come back and show you a comparison. The next thing I want to do, I am going to tilt this image. So let's select Free Transform. I just went to the Edit menu and selected Free Transform, but I did it with shortcut keys. So I've selected Free Transform, and what I'm going to do is tilt this image so that this one young lady's face is straight up. So let's set that transformation. Now if I go back into Filter and Liquify, the filter may recognize her. Yes, it does. It recognizes her a lot better, or period. It didn't at first. So let's zoom in and notice that you see the on-screen controls for the eyes, the nose, the face, and even the mouth. So I want to make a few changes here, but I don't want to make exaggerated changes. So I'm just going to tilt her mouth up just a tiny bit. And I'm going to open up her eyes just a tiny bit. Let's grab that one. Oops, here you go. Just a little bit. And that's all I'm going to do to her face. So let's choose OK. And it goes back to the Layers panel. And now I'm going to take this same layer that I rotated, and I'm going to rotate it back. So let's do a Command T. And I'm going to have to zoom out. That would be a Control T on a PC. And I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to rotate this image back the way it was, or close enough to it. And then double click or click on the check mark to set that transition. And let's zoom in again. Now, before I go back into the Liquify filter, I'm going to take this layer and convert it to a smart object. Now that that's done, let's go back into the filter menu, back to Liquify. And now notice that in addition to the men being recognized, also this little young lady in the upper left corner is recognized by this filter. So let's make some minor changes. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to increase his smile just a bit. I'm going to increase the smile in his eyes by rotating them just slightly. And with the gentleman in the lower left corner, I'm going to just increase his smile just a little bit. With the young lady in the upper left corner, I want to enlarge that left eye, but when I enlarge the left eye, it's also going to enlarge the right eye. That's quite all right. I'm going to work on that right after I get out of this filter. So I've enlarged her left eye, it enlarges the right eye, and I'm happy with these changes. I just want subtle changes, nothing that's exaggerated. So let's choose OK. And let's take a look at the changes that I made. This is before, and this is after. So let's do that again. This is before, and this is after. We have a slow computer today. All right, so I've made some very minor changes. What I would like to do now is to reduce the size of the young lady's right eye. This eye right here, I want to reduce the size of it. So what I'm going to do is go over to the smart object and click on the filter mask of the smart filter. Then I'm going to paint on this layer mask, and I'm going to paint with the brush using the foreground color of black. And as I paint on this layer mask, remember that black hides and white reveals. So I'm basically hiding the change that I made to this young lady's eye. So I'm going to zoom in and filter mask selected. So watch as I paint across. It's going to go back to what it looked like before I made this little change. Okay. So basically, I hid the change that I made. So let's zoom out. And let's take a look at everything. This is, whoops, let's turn that background layer on. This is before, and this is after. Just very subtle changes that hopefully enhance the look of the portrait. This is Chita Hunter. I hope this was helpful. Until next time.